Hello. My cat is... Are you doing ASMR? I have some friends with me today. I have the intruder and I have Walter, my cat. He loves to rub his face against the corners of the pulpit that I record on. Get your tail out of my face. Oh, now you're showing everyone your butt. Okay. Hello, my name is Glitchwitch.jpg. I make videos about internet horror, analog horror, digital horror, creepypastas, ARGs, internet urban legends, and sometimes I talk about things like horror video games and horror films. But today, it's my bread and butter. It is beloved analog horror, and on top of that, it's one of the most iconic analog horror series we've ever had, which is the Mandela Catalogue. And I am here today recording a emergency video because a new minisode of the Mandela Catalogue dropped last night called the Mandela Catalogue Cognito Hazard. Now that instantly piqued my interest because I'm very fascinated with the concept of cognito hazards. It's something that the series has dealt with for a long time, but maybe has not come out right using the term cognito hazard. I have a whole video about cognito hazards and info hazards and how they relate to internet horror, and the Mandela Catalogue is actually a big part of that video. It's like an example I use a lot, so feel free to check that out if you want a better understanding of what a cognito hazard is, because frankly, I can't even begin to explain it in a concise manner. It's essentially information that you don't want to know. It's harmful for you if you know this information. That's a very loose description. Don't come for me, especially you SCP heads. This piques my interest. The last Mandela Catalogue entry we had was the Unraveling Part 2, which I covered in my Analog Horror Roundup video from October because everyone and their mother was dropping an analog horror project around Halloween. And in that I talked about how, to me, the Unraveling Part 2 is one of the strongest entries into the series thus far. And after Cognito Hazard, I would have to say we're going up and up. The quality is really, not that the quality was bad, but I'm just really enjoying the turn that the series is taking, the experimenting with the formats of analog horror and digital horror, with this recent entry being very digital horror focused, which is a lot of fun. We've gotten a little bit of that in the past, but I think there's a chance now for us to get more and more alternates interfering with some digital technology, which is fun. I've kind of been on a digital horror kick lately, so it's pleasing to me. But what is the Mandela Catalogue? I don't really know why you're watching this video if you don't know what the Mandela Catalogue is at all. But the Mandela Catalogue is a analog horror series, one of the most popular and famous, that follows a county in Wisconsin. Jump scare, I know if you're also from the Midwest like me, that's terrifying. Just being in Wisconsin. I have equal hatred towards all Midwestern states, including my own Michigan, where I'm from, so I'm not just coming for you, specifically Wisconsin. It's, you know, real, recognized, real situation. And this county has become overrun by doppelganger demons called alternates, who deliver some cognito hazardous information to the humans of Mandela County in order to get them to take their own lives, and then the alternates take their place. Essentially, it's a one-to-one replacement, and they want to replace all the people and take over the world. And this goes all the way back to biblical times, and the kind of architect of all of this chaos is an alternate of the archangel Gabriel. So he came in and messed things up back when Gabriel was supposed to tell Miss Mary that she was going to have God's baby. So this is some old stuff, but in the modern era, it seems centrally located to a county in Wisconsin. It feels appropriate to make a take me to God's country joke here, but I don't know if that makes me too much of the millennial. It's coming out in me too much. That's for you to decide. Anyway, before I get into my thoughts about Cognito Hazard, I thought I would go through and give us a timeline refresh, because we are kind of jumping all over in this lovely timeline of the Mandela Catalogue, And because this is one of the later entries, chronologically, I thought it would be interesting to quickly recap the timeline and then get into what I think the implications of this recent episode are, because they're large. When I saw that a new video was posted, I was like, oh cool, I'll watch it, I bet I won't be able to make a video. Then I watched it and I was like, oh no, I can make a video and I should make a video. So I have thoughts. They're good thoughts. They're scary thoughts. But first, I'm going to give a little timeline recap, and I want to thank Reddit user Crappy Shimmy Cyclist on r/Mandela Catalogue, who 7 months ago posted a timeline somewhat based on the Mandela Catalogue wiki timeline, but they went in and added like the names of the episodes with each of the like events, which is very helpful to me. I went on the wiki first and was like, I don't remember specifically what episode some of these things take place because I've just seen the series so many times. In my head, it's almost a film to me now. I know, like, upload-wise, timeline, how the story goes, but I kind of don't know when one video ends and one begins when it comes to, like, the interlude episodes, the minisodes. I can tell you everything that happened in all of the mainline things, but I start to lose it a little bit in the in-between. So this was very helpful. So I am going to go through this. I'll link the Reddit post below. Go give them Reddit goals or whatever you do on Reddit. I don't know how to use Reddit. I just lurk. But anyway, it's timeline time, bitch. And that's the only way I could talk about The Intruder, was to include a timeline. I've made many Mandela Catalogue videos or references to the Mandela Catalogue historically on my channel, and if you haven't seen those, the two things you have to know about me as a Mandela Catalogue standee is The Intruder is my #1 diva. I love him. I have an Intruder tattoo. He's my diva. And my #2 diva is Lieutenant Thatcher Davis. And I do want to say, I love this. Let me stand up and give you the full fantasy here. I love this shirt from, I'm going to put the shop name up here. This was officially licensed and all that. And I love it. It's really the whole gang's here. The Intruder's on here like 8 times. We have sleeve prints. I love wearing this specifically in public. Don't even know if I can show that on YouTube. Please don't demonetize me. And then we have the Wanted on the back. Lovely shirt. Perfect. So glad that The Intruder's on there. Do you want to know who's not on there? Once? Not one time? Lieutenant Thatcher Davis. Not once. I don't know why my brain is picturing the 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri right now. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the video now and stop complaining that there's not enough Lieutenant Thatcher Davis representation. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody loves Adam. Here's the timeline. And this shit goes even farther back. This timeline includes Mystifying Oracle stuff too. I'm not going to include that because I don't think those series are connected at all. In my head, they are not. If I'm wrong, someone tell me. But I view the Mandela Catalogue as one series that Alex has done. The Mystifying Oracle is a separate one. And then he also has other things like Botanophobia. Oh my god, I made a video about that. You should, like, go watch it or something. I'm not including the Mystifying Oracle. That's a whole separate thing. If you want me to make a video about the Mystifying Oracle, let me know. It's interesting. I do like it. It's, I obviously like few things as much as I like the Mandela Catalogue because I have a tattoo, but, it is what it is. So this timeline starts back in 1832 when the Mandela County Police Department was established, which they say in volume 333. I can assume that that's probably around when Mandela County it started to exist, right? I doubt they were unpoliced for long. And then in 1974, Mark Heathcliff is born. We also find this out in volume 333. In 1978, Mark writes his little coloring book, The Scary Night, where he meets the Intruder. He tells us about meeting the man in the corner, who is my favorite little diva, the Intruder. One of the most iconic moments in the series, if you ask me. In 1981, the United States Department of Temporal Phenomenon is established. We learn this in Volume 1. And Mandela Tech is founded, which we learn in Volume 4. So I think that's very interesting that as we're starting to get watching what's going on here with the Department of Temporal Phenomenon, we also have Dave Lee opening his Mandela Tech, which later, suffers greatly from the alternates and the fact that they can move around and manipulate analog technology. In 1982, metaphysical awareness disorder comes back It's a huge problem, and this is in the video Metaphysical Awareness Disorder. 1988, Adam Murray is born January 18th, and Jonah is born March 7th, which this apparently was shown on Volume 4. I'm guessing for Jonah, it's like the death date. That's how we found out when he was born. In 1990, we start to get population counts of Mandela County, and in 1990, the population is 19,867. Also in 1990, the United States Department of Temporal Phenomenon is revised, which we see in exhibition, and Jude and Lynn are married, and we find this out in volume 3 through 3. So I never realized that they had Adam before they got married. Not that it matters. 1992, a lot happens here. The population has decreased to 14,763, which is a crazy decrease from 1990. That is a 24% decrease. That's bad. They refer to something on the Mandela Police website, which is I miss her. I missed it when it was live. I wonder if it's on the Wayback Machine. I've never thought to look. If it is, I'll make a whole video of me looking into it, because as a Thatcher head, I would have been all over that, but I missed it when it came out. They refer to it as the grand year of 92, and I think it's just because, like, everything happened. It's a big year. It's a big year. 92 is a big year. April 4th, Thatcher and Ruth are promoted to lieutenant and sergeant, respectively. April 18th, the Department of Temporal Phenomenon documents a 1989 Ford Taurus repeatedly crossing the Mandela County border into Yonder County without ever returning, and that's in Volume 5. On August 29th, Jude and Lynn divorce. August 30, Mark photographs his window, probably depicting a flawed impersonator following him. That's an exhibition. September 13th, Cesar Torres calls Mark. This is Volume 1. This really is the beginning of the story as far as, the upload timeline goes. September 13th through 15th, Mark hides from Caesar's alternate before finally confronting him. And on September 21st, several days later, he takes his own life because of the alternate of Caesar. In 1993, the population decreases another 12% to 12,978. In 1994, a 43% decrease to 7,312. In 1992, concurrent with Mark's death, Adam is taken by the intruder. Lynn Murray takes her own life, distraught by losing Adam. Ruth is taken by an alternate, and Thatcher is confronted by an alternate, but somehow survives. Finally, in 1992, Jude flees after Adam is kidnapped and Lynn dies. He goes to a safe house and attempts to flee Mandela County and flee the alternates chasing after him, but succumbs to the torment from the alternate N and ends up taking his own life. In 1995, the population decreases another 31% to 5,024, and the Beginner's Bible tapes are published in 1995, which these are the tapes we see. The Jesus is Born one is the one we see in the very original upload, Overthrown, where Gabriel takes over, and then the story of Easter we saw in the Unraveling Part 2. One of my favorite sequences is the deterioration of that tape in Unraveling Part 2. It is so good. And there's also, it doesn't say it on this timeline, but there's also the Noah's Ark clips where Gabriel puts a alternate onto the Ark, and that's like how the alternates survive. I would need to check. I'll check and see what video that is and put it up here because I cannot remember off the top of my head. In 96 through 2000, the population continues to decrease, going down to 3,004 by 2001. We get more population decrease from 2001 to 2004. By 2004, the population is 2,403. So it's a more steady population decline at this point, but it is continuing to decline. In 2005 through 2007, we have more population decrease all the way down to 1,687 in 2007. And then we're getting into the era of Adam, Jonah, Sarah, and Evelyn now. In 2007, on June 11th, Sarah announces on the Bythorn High Daily News Show that she wants a partner in crime for the Bythorn Paranormal Club. This is from Volume 4. On July 10th, Sarah announces that she is renaming the Bythorn Paranormal Club into the Bythorn Paranormal Society, and Adam is introduced to their YouTube channel as her new partner. On July 14th, Sarah and Adam break into an active crime scene and record alternates in the doorway. On July 17th, Adam finds a replacement for Sarah online because she no longer wants to go and do these alternate scouting events after the ones in the doorway freaked her out too much, and Jonah Marshall is the one to replace her. We have a lot going on in 2008, 2009. 2008, population decreases again to 1,347, so that's a good 200-ish, 300-ish people. So then in 2009, we have the population down to 1,075. January 11th through 13th, Jonah and Adam investigate the cat alternate, and Jonah dies while trying to escape the alternates. So that is, all of this pretty much is Volume 2 and then Volume 4, because they are kind of occurring concurrently. January 13th, Evelyn messaged Adam asking for closure after they have broken up. Also on the 13th, Adam tells Sarah that Jonah died. 2 hours later, he sends her the memorial video for Jonah, and it's all fucked up. Concurrently, while he's talking to Sarah about this, he gets a call from the intruder, who is like, "It's me, your dad. Hi, son." And this call is interrupted by Sarah. On January 14th, Dave Lee is found dead in the parking lot of St. Gabriel Church, and we find out that Gabriel killed him. Gabriel lured him there with the promise of a new job, pretending to be his friend O'Brien, and he killed Dave Lee. That's another thing about me. After the intruder Thatcher, it's Dave Lee. I love Dave Lee. I love that he has become so intrinsically important to the plot of this series. January 16th, Thatcher finds Adam writhing in pain. He's going alternate. On the 16th, he interrogates him at the police station. So we kind of leave that there. Thatcher is, this is like the end of what we know so far timeline-wise of all of our main characters. So as of right now, to our knowledge, Thatcher is like, taking care is a weird way to put it. I don't know. He is watching over Adam. I've seen a lot of fan people be like, "Oh, he's like taking on a fatherly role." I don't know about that. I think he's gonna put him in a cell and be like, "I'm not gonna kill you, but also I don't like you." In the most recent video that I'm going to talk about more in a second, the Cognito Hazard video, this takes place in 2011 with 2 new characters that we did not know yet. And then in 2024, the TikTok account, All Dark, All Gone, posts a Get Ready With Me video on TikTok. So that's the end of the timeline. I do think it's interesting that we're starting to work up to more modern times. It's taken a while. With Volume 5, we went back to Jude. But let's transport ourselves to 2011 and now talk about Cognito Hazard, because, oh diva, I have thoughts and feelings. So, I'm not going to show this whole video. Please go watch it on Alex Kister's channel. It's only 7 minutes and 44 seconds, but I will give you a quick rundown of essentially what goes on in this before I talk about it. So it is an archived video. If we look at the description, it says, "Metaphysical Awareness Disorder Demonstration Number A567, extracted from YouTube.mp4 file, now unlisted." So I am wondering if this is Thatcher documenting this. In general, when I don't know where the video has come from, if it's very much a like in-universe file or tape, I tend to think it's Thatcher cataloging it, especially at this point. We know it's not Dave because Dave has died if this is something from 2011. So I'm going to guess this is Thatcher uploading it, compiling the information, and it is being labeled straight up as an example of metaphysical awareness disorder, which I didn't read the description before I watched this for the first time, so when the mad part happened, I was like, oh my god! So I should have read it. I should have known also it's called Cognito Hazard. But the setup of this is it's screenshots from a Wisconsin-based forum called the Babel. The biblical references never end, diva. We have 2 users. We have MedStudent80, who we later find out her name is Addison, and we have WI_birdlover or Wisconsin birdlover interacting on this forum. Addison starts a thread in the forum called Activities for Young Ones in the Area because she's moving back to Wisconsin and staying with her aunt and taking care of her little cousin, so she wants a place to visit. And Wisconsin Bird Lover starts replying to her. They kind of build up a little conversation, little internet friendship going on, talking about how things were back in the day. They're suggesting different places for her to go and take the kids. And Mandela County ends up coming up. And their reactions are interesting because it's just like they haven't thought about it in years. Like, Addison's like, I completely forgot that existed, even though, like, her family lived right near it, like, her grandparents lived right near it. They talk about there being a county fair that used to happen, and she said her grandparents said it just kept getting worse and worse, which, no shit. Can y'all imagine how miserable a county fair in Mandela County would be? Can you imagine? Dave Lee would have fun, though. Like, in 1995, Dave Lee was dragging Thatcher Davis onto the Ferris wheel. I can see it so vividly. But like a 2004 Mandela County, no. Or like Adam taking Evelyn to the county fair. No, not fun. But I do like the vision of, like, the intruder or N just, like, on the tilt-a-whirl or something. I'd love to see that. If someone wants to animate that for me, that'd be great. As they keep talking, Wisconsin Bird Lover is like, I don't remember anything. Like, I don't know. I can't find anything online. And it's almost as if they are kind of goading Addison into digging deeper to find stuff. Addison ends up finding a web link to a news article about Dave Lee's death, and this really freaks her out. She kind of starts spiraling from here, and meanwhile, Wisconsin Bird Lover's like, it's not a big deal. People die every day. I don't even know that news station. Maybe it's, not even reputable. But she starts kind of getting very uncomfortable because she's starting to remember that her grandparents, whom she was very close to, they disappeared right after saying they were going to go look to buy a house in Mandela County because houses were getting cheaper. No shit. I can only imagine how cheap. I would have been tempted. Honestly, if I could have made friends with the alternates and gotten one of them damn cheap houses, I think it kind of would have been worth it. They wouldn't do that to me, right? Not me. I could hang out. We could be buddies. They could tell me the metaphysical awareness shit, and I'd be like, dope. I'd be like, hey guys, I've seen every urban spook video. Whatever you show me can't be more horrific than that. I will take unjustified shots at urban spook whenever I can. She's starting to get really upset, and she's like, I'd like to change the subject. And then Wisconsin Bird Lover keeps saying, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And she's like, okay, like, what are you doing? And then they start dropping real personal information, like the date of her grandparents' disappearance, her name. She's getting freaked out. She's trying to contact the moderators. There's no moderator present. And then we get a blurred section from Wisconsin Bird Lover. It says, there's a completely blurred, cannot decipher it. I tried. I'm sorry, guys. If someone else deciphers it, dope. And it's okay. It'll be okay. So this is Addison's first interaction with Matt. She says, why the hell are you telling me that? Why would I want to know that? Fuck off. And then it is just a giant paragraph's worth of redacted information, clearly redacted by whoever originally uploaded this or by who I'm assuming is Thatcher, because we do know that Thatcher is not affected by MAD the way that other people are, because he's goated. I don't know why. He's just so depressed, it doesn't matter. And I love this, because even though we can't read it, by the end, it's like the way that the text is laid out, it's like reflected and it almost looks like an ink blot kind of thing, where like you could see a face in it, which I think is really interesting. And there is an actual photo in there, but I love the mirrored text. I just think that's really cool. So the implication of this video is actually really big on the series. I think sometimes maybe people skip the interlude episodes, not realizing that like there's insane amounts of very important things dropped in these. And the biggest thing for me is the alternates can deliver MAD via the internet, which is like devastating potentially. This is obviously a very small scale. Babbel is a Wisconsin-based message board. It is not like it's Reddit or Facebook or whatever. It's very small, but it is 2011, so the internet's different. Sure, we had bigger social medias, but we didn't have TikTok. We didn't have Instagram. I don't know when Instagram came out. It might have been out in 2011, but if it was very early. That means that anyone can stumble across this. That's what's so freaky. Because previously, an alternate would have to be physically in front of you, or you'd have to be in front of the TV, and they would have to talk to you specifically. Because the way I understand the TV things is it wasn't that they were like broadcast hijacking, like the whole county. It was that they were signaling out individual children and stuff like that. At least that's how I interpret it. If there's evidence against that, let me know. That's just always how I've viewed it, is that it was very much a case-by-case basis. So for the first time, they're able to capture multiple people at once with one paragraph or one sentence typed out on a message board or on social media. Or in the example of like all the Get Ready With Me video on the TikTok, maybe an example of an alternate wanting to deliver MAD through a TikTok, and the fact that it just repeats over and over and over again and thousands and millions of people will see it. That's terrifying. That's going from this is just affecting Mandela County to this can affect the whole world. And I also think that this video shows us that all of this has been pretty contained to Mandela County with a little bit of bleed over into like Workshire and Yonder County. That's kind of been pretty apparent so far, but this really shows it. And I think it's interesting that there's, some sort of, I guess, self-preservation going on where people are fully forgetting about Mandela County. Like, as the population dwindles and dwindles, everyone around is just like, oh yeah, that's right, that was there. Which, seems ludicrous kind of when you're thinking about it, but I grew up in an area that was pretty devastated by population decline after the auto industry pulled out of Metro Detroit, and there were definitely towns that fully, slowly over a decade kind of dissipated into nothing because there was no reason to stay, and you don't realize it until you go there and it's like, oh yeah, it's empty now. So I do get it. As someone who's experienced that personally, I can see how people would just be like, oh yeah, I don't really go there anymore. I forgot about that. I moved away. I don't really think about that town or that county anymore. It's just kind of sitting there. So I can see how that would happen with Addison. The way that the alternate is communicating on the internet is very interesting. Because they're anonymous, they don't have to try as hard to appear human. As long as they can nail the speech patterns down, they're fine. It's easier to get away with it. And it's interesting that it once it knows it has her, it gives up though, and it starts to type erratically the way that you would think an alternate would in its purest form. So I think that's really cool as well. And it's just a very scary implication, and I'm super curious to see how the alternates on the internet continue. I kind of hope that that's explored a little bit in Volume 6, because we have gone back, pretty frequently with like the Unraveling 2, and also Volume 5 was set in the 90s, so I would love to see a more modern one, and I'd love to keep seeing new characters like Addison and things like that, or just seeing random everyday people that we don't know getting affected by these alternate attacks. I understand why we're focused on our core characters, because it's a plot, it's a narrative, we care about these people, but every once in a while to see it randomly affecting different people I think is really cool. So that's my like plot analysis of this. From a technical standpoint, I just want to say I love this. I love the way that it looks. I think that Alex has gotten really, really good at emulating era-specific technology. I think the analog work in Unraveling 2 is impeccable. I think it is genuine capital A analog horror, and then this is genuine digital horror. The look of Babel is on point. It's perfect. It's, you know, crunchy and weird enough, and the way that they talk makes sense. So it's very period accurate, which I think is cool. Yes, I am losing my mind that I'm talking about something set in 2011 being period accurate. That makes me want to puke. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, guys. You're getting old too. Every year, every day, closer to death. It's awesome. I love it. I've had a long week, if you can't tell. I love it. And the other thing that I thought was super clever about this was the repeated line. You're going to be okay. You know you're going to be okay. Because that, like, phenomenon, you see it every once in a while, where there'll be someone who just, like, copy and paste the same thing on, like, a Reddit thread. Or I know Nexpo just made that video about just, like, Reddit mysteries. And there was the one about the young boy who unfortunately died on a military base, and there was an obscure random blog post about his death, and, like, clearly the same person was copying and pasting the same message over and over again, but just pretending to be a different person related to him, and it's kind of unknown who that was. I mean, it probably was, like, one relative who was trying to pretend to be multiple people to get more awareness of the case, because it kind of went cold immediately, and that's sad and weird and uncomfortable, but that idea of just this repeated thing on like, a comment or a forum, it's weird. Like, I've had people comment, like, the same thing on multiple videos, and it does kind of weird me out a little bit. I don't know why. It makes it feel fake, I guess, but, like, it's obvious enough that it's not a bot that it just feels weird. Like, why as a person are you doing that? And in this case, it's because it's not a person, it's an alternate. So I thought that was a really nice touch and just an added layer of, like, internet weirdness that kind of delighted me. I really liked this. I mean, it's simple. It's just text on the screen, but the tension, the editing was great. I was hanging on every word to see how this was going to unveil. So I loved this. I really enjoy the interlude episodes. I mean, to be perfectly honest, me and my taste, I have preferred this and The Unraveling to Volume 5, and that's just because they're very grounded in the genres of analog horror and digital horror, whereas Volume 5 was very much a film. It really was a short film, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just such an internet horror-coded diva that I love when, you know, the tech is utilized in this way. So I think it's cool. I think it's great that we're getting both with the Mandela Catalogue, that we're getting these more long-form film-style entries, and we're still getting that very internet, very analog entries as well. It delights me, and I can't wait to see what's next. This was a surprise. This was a treat. I didn't know this was coming at all, so I woke up this morning and was like, oh my god, there's a Mandela Catalogue, so, which I needed. It's been a long week for me, divas. It's been a long week. I'm tired. Thank you so much for watching. Please go watch this actual episode on Alex Kister's channel. I've linked it down below, and also, again, thank you so much to Reddit user Crappy Shimmy Cyclist for that timeline breakdown, and thank you also to the Mandela Catalogue wiki, because I know that the timeline also was sourced from there. And I would like to thank my YouTube members. I have the Creepypasta OCs up on screen, and then in Survival Horror Emo we have E-Rob and So-Called Punk, and in Analog Horror, Scary Face, We Have Cure, Coffer, and Elvican. If you would like to become a member, there's a little subscribe button down below. But liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing also means the world and helps me so much. So thank you so much for watching. Try not to, go on any weird forums and read anything you don't want to read. I know it's hard because every day I log online and read something that I wish I didn't see. So thank you so much again for watching. Me and the intruder are going to go probably read some more shit that I don't want to read online. Bye!